Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com. I recently did a video about profit in online watches, and the video did amazingly well. YouTube is very fickle like this. I'll do a video like this and it'll do great, and I'll cover a watch and it does horrible. I've had people come up to me at shows and say, "You don't do YouTube videos anymore?" I'm like, "I do like 2 or 3 a week," even though they're subscribed. If YouTube doesn't want to show it to you, they don't show it to you. So I'm glad they showed you this one. There were a bunch of really great comments, but there were 3 points that I wanted to drive home because they were asked in the comments a number of times, and I felt like this would just be a quick follow-up. I don't know how quick it's going to be. It'd be a good follow-up, and we will do an example because we learn by watching. So let's check this out. So I'm not a fan of prerequisite courses, but Professor Marc is definitely recommending that you watch the other video before you watch this one. As I said, I'm going to do an example and we'll do all the math, and I'm going to answer pretty much 3 kind of pivotal questions. One of them revolved around margin, one of them revolved around payroll, and one of them was actually not a question, it was more of a statement that someone made that really, it rang very true to me, and I was like, wow, I really should highlight that because that person made an excellent point. So here's how we're going to start our little activity. We have 3 players, Jim, Seiko, and Island Watch. Imaginary, right? Seiko has an item, Island Watch has some money. So I'm actually just going to start because this will become important at the end. I have $54, okay? That is what is right here. 20, 40, 50, $4, okay? Seiko has a watch. Seiko sells it to me. Okay, now Seiko has my $54. Island Watch though, so I'm going to remove this because they're done. We will not see them again. Island Watch now has an item that was worth to it $54, and this is something I glossed over in cost of goods sold in the first video. Inventory is not an expense, it is an asset. If you buy a watch, it is not a write-off. Expenses are write-offs, marketing, payroll, electricity, utilities, rent, etc. Those are write-offs. Inventory is not. And that's the one important point that I totally glossed over, and someone kind of called me on it, and I was like, okay, well, we should really highlight that. But then I thought, you know what, let's go a little further, as I like to do, and just beat the horse to death. Meet Jim. Jim has $100 to his name, and Jim says to Island Watch, I want to buy this Seiko for $100. Okay, Jim now has the Seiko. Jim, goodbye, is out of the question, or out of everything we are going to do from now on. Now everything is Island Watch. So now if you followed, I just got to get my money together. I feel like I'm playing Monopoly, except this is actually real money. You know, funny thing, if you show money in a movie or anything else, either has to be real or so badly fake that no one will consider it to be real cash for theatrical use only, etc. And then it needs to either be really small or really big. Cool stuff about American currency. Anyway, so if you watched my video, okay, the prior video, you will have seen that I said that $14 is going to go to wages. So from this 100, I'm going to start over here, right? I'll make a little footnote over here. So from $100, I'm going to subtract 14. And that went to wages. So here's 10, 11, 12, 13, $14, right? You can see that? Okay, so $14 is out of our 100. I guess maybe we'll just leave it right here, 114. So another question that came up is Marc part of payroll? Yes, Marc is part of payroll. I'm also part of corporate profits. Why am I part of payroll? Well, a little thing called payroll tax here in New York, America, New York, whatever. If I rolled all the business profits into my personal income tax return, I would be bypassing Medicare tax, and a few other things that New York State really wants to get their grubby little hands on. So you cannot pay yourself, you're not supposed to at least, specifically through corporate profits as distributions. The government does not get too happy. So yeah, I do have to take a salary. Okay, so now of that 100, I also told you that 12 bucks is going to go to marketing and advertising. Okay, so let me, here's a 10, here's 11, here's $12, okay? And then I told you that $6 is going to go to my web expenses. So let's see, can I find $6 here? I think I can. 5, 6, and then I told you another 4 was to miscellaneous. You know, some people keyed in on 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, some people keyed in also on, you know, R&D, prototyping, etc. The questions that were asked. Keep in mind, everything I did was the exercise for longislandwatch.com. Islander is rolled into that. So if I do prototyping and stuff, or research and development, course associated with that, they are rolled into all these other numbers that you see here. But also, it's probably worth noting that we produce in large enough quantities that the factories typically will create prototypes for free for the, I guess, they'll absorb the expense knowing that we're going to create or place a large order, and that will make it worth their while. So that's everything. And then we can take all this math, so 100 minus 14 minus 12 minus 10, I believe gets us to $64. I'm going to just really check. Yep, that math checks out. So 64 bucks. That's what we are left with from this 100. We're square, right? Everybody's still getting this? So now let's go. So let me take all this money out of here and let me dig up $64. 20, 40, 60, here's 64 bucks. Now if you recall, got it? 64. What did we start with? We started with 54. We made $10 in corporate profit, and we now have 64 bucks. We say, well, Mark, you said you only make $10. Right, cost of goods sold is not an expense, remember. Now here's where the last part comes in, that someone made an excellent point. Person was probably a business person, and they called me on it, and it was very valid. I want to go back now, and I'm going to go back to Seiko and say, Seiko, I want another one of these. And they say, okay, give me $54. Now I have to go and give them 54 of this, leaving me with 10. But let's say I'm looking to grow my business, as of course we all are. I want to buy 2 of these. Well, guess what? I need $108. I do not have $108. I need to sell, what, 5 more, 4 more to get up to, 108, right? Yeah, to get up to $108 for me to buy 2 and then get the profit from 2. And that is where business scaling becomes very difficult, and people wind up borrowing money to purchase inventory and whatever, because profits fund the rest of the business. If there's a new venture we want to go into, like let's say this year we spent X in marketing and next year I want to spend 1.1X, well, guess where that money comes from? It comes from the corporate profit. So even though that corporate profit rolls into the tax return or the taxes or the pocket, as it were, it really gets reinvested back into the company. At least most of it does. If you want to call inventory an investment. Inventory, I would consider an investment. I'm hoping to, put in 54 bucks to get out 100. But that's about it. So really, the 3 points I wanted to, I guess, drive home were where the cost of goods sold is, and that inventory is not an expense. Big mistake that a lot of people make starting their business. Yes, I do take a payroll. I simply have to, pretty much legally. And the third one was growing the business comes out of the corporate profit. So it makes it even more difficult to make a living. That's it. This has been Mark from longislandwatch.com, beating the horse to death. I think we're done at this point. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Questions, comments, put it down below. I'll be sure to address it as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.